whatever you think is the best way to tackle climate change, there's a space for you to do that in Maastricht for Climate.
Yeah.
Welcome everyone to the new episode of the Offcast. Today we are gonna speak about climate change. We have Bianca and Jasmine.
So,
what we can do about it?
as promised, we are talking about a lot of topics. So that's one of the serious one. I will be always serious, but sometimes, you know, when it's getting too serious, I'm leaving. Like sometimes I drop everything and I leave. Where is Hillman? Hey, where is Hillman? Ricky?
I can see him.
No, he's not there. He's not there. No. Hello, guys. I hope you liked the previous episode. Why you didn't watch it again? Please go back. Don't stop here and go watch again. So, this is Ricardo. We know already this guy. And so here, our two new guests. Welcome. Carissime, bellissime, beautiful girls. What's your name? Who are you? Tell me something.
Hi everyone, my name is Bianca and I'm part of Maastricht for Climate and
Yeah,
Short introduction.
Short,
Nice.
straight to the point.
Straight to the point.
That's all you need to know.
that's the efficiency that
Show
we're
the
bringing to the
show the
podcast.
shirt.
Yeah,
Got
Maastricht
No
for
way.
Climate.
Yes.
For winning. Yeah.
Oh my God, I'm jealous now.
You should be.
That's
You
it.
should be.
Yeah. I'm Jasmine, also Maastricht for Climate.
And
What do you
she
do?
organized the march. Let's say something else.
Let's give some
Yeah.
backgrounds. Let's
Yes.
give some backgrounds. We went to a march this weekend.
Shout out.
They brought me in the
Yes,
shoulders.
no, he was waiting in McDonald's.
And
And we were walking in the center of Maastricht, shouting that we, as young people, yes, I'm young, like young people, we want to change. But now, because our future in a really big risk, in danger. So if the new generation or the future generation won't talk,
we can't achieve anything.
it's already our generation is in a big risk. So that's why we
and
went.
of course, the context for the march itself was that the elections are coming up on the 16th,
absolutely.
and EU students can vote in it. So
Yeah.
we wanted to really give students a
Yes.
voice to
As
make
the-
climate change an issue.
Yes.
Go
as the-
vote.
Exactly.
Go
No. But as the 6th episode in YouTube, we already did it. We invited a politician, and doesn't matter the name, but we said that I didn't know. Like 2 months ago, I didn't know. 4 months ago, I didn't know that I could vote as a student or a worker or whatever. We thought only Maastricht people, like who lives in Maastricht, could only vote. But listen up, everyone can vote. So let's try to make a change. I don't know. Not about only climate change, but about everything.
Okay, good introduction, guys. Girls, tell us a little bit about Maastricht for Climate. What is it?
Yeah, so Maastricht for Climate is a grassroots organization that started here in Maastricht. It's full of students, so it's led by the students. I am the secretary, she's the treasurer, and we're part of like the board so we're like the board members.
Honor to have you
On
here.
air. And what we do is that, of course, we try to fight against climate change, and we try to create awareness among our students, our fellow students, but also in Maastricht we also try to create awareness among the locals in Maastricht, and we also collaborate internationally and nationally, so we are like a bit everywhere. But we started just as a student organizations, and then over the years we've spread.
That's good.
Yeah, and I think probably the important thing to note about Maastricht for Climate is that we tackle it, as you said, from so many different angles. So the way it works is we've got all these different groups, and if you're interested in organising big marches and having everyone shouting on the streets, marching around, then you can do that. That's what I like to do. But we also have all these different teams, like somebody writes a sustainability guide to tell you about what you can do here in Maastricht to buy things sustainably and live sustainably. Or we have, other teams like Small Action Team, which focuses on more like local community events and stuff. So whatever you think is the best way to tackle climate change, there's a space for you to do that in Maastricht for Climate.
Yeah, we also have those people, and we have external relations team that again deals with things externally, and we are like part of like the Glasgow Agreement, for example, which is really cool. So we're like together with a lot of organizations.
Give our viewers a little bit of background on the Glasgow Agreement.
Maybe you can go
Yeah,
ahead.
like I can be one of them. What is it?
What
Glasgow
is it?
football? I don't know. What is this?
Could
question.
could
First
be.
question.
So yeah, the Glasgow Agreement is actually really interesting. If you're looking out for it, I think they're planning to change the name soon, which is a bit confusing. They're going to change it to something like the People's Agreement or something, because they want to disconnect it, because it's really about the people and not about the politics. But it originated in Glasgow during the COP, or whenever they were planning to do the COP, they started this. And it's basically an initiative that brings together all of the climate groups internationally that exist. And then they come together for these big conferences, because since 2019 and before that, but really since 2019, there's been such a global climate movement where, you know, everyone around the world has been striking, everyone around the world has been going to these marches.
Thank you, Greta.
Thank you, Greta. Of course you're watching. And
If you don't,
this...
Yeah. What are you doing? Huh?
Tag Greta.
Greta Thunberg.
This is meant to sort of tie all of those together so that it's actually a combined effort and a combined wall against, you know, the politicians and against the businesses that obviously they're also global. So we have this united force which can do things and help each other out.
Yeah, and the cool thing is, like, one of our members, they are planning to go to Brazil to go to this Glasgow Agreement in person.
can I come? I want to make an action for the climate
So
change.
anyone who wants
Can
to
I
join,
go to Brazil?
please, let's all go to Brazil.
Exactly.
Massive
Explain
Climate
us,
goes to
I
Brazil.
want to save the planet. Let's go to Brazil. Can we go around February? Like again next year?
Next year.
But yeah, let me ask you this question. How did you get in touch with this, you said student association? Did you create it? Did you join it? How did you join it? What pushed you to be interested into climate?
I have to say that actually what really pushed me to get involved into climate was the first climate march. I've been here for years, so I'm one of the old people that in Maastricht has seen those very big climate marches, and it was so empowering. I remember there were these 3 people there standing and screaming and giving the big motivational speech, and I had goosebumps. I was like, oh, I want to be like them one day. And the cool thing is that the last climate march, I was on the top of that patio where I saw those 3 people, and I was together with other 2 girls, and we were the 3 girls holding the speech. So it was really like empowering, you know.
And probably you empowered somebody else, you inspired someone to.
Hopefully
to do
in
the same thing.
3 years you'll see someone here saying, oh yeah, that was that girl that really pushed me. But yeah, so what got me involved was seeing this movement, and again, like in 2019 it was really big. Also between 2018 and 19 it was like their moment, of course. So like there was like this really big community, and I was like, fuck, I want to be part of it.
But I think in the world they started already. I remember from 2005.
Yeah,
Like
of
in
course.
Ireland, in America,
Yeah,
in Australia.
But I mean, is kind of the frustrating thing. Like this fight has been going on literally for decades now. Like
Yeah.
since
if
Al
you think
Gore
about
came out with his
exactly Al
science.
Gore.
Exactly, and you know,
About
it's
the
just been the
same
same thing over and over again. But I feel like 2019 was really important because it was sort of reinvented and revigorated by the youth. And now I think it has become really a youth-led action, and that's the same here in Maastricht, where we have, we have parties like Milieu Defensie. I don't know if you know them, but they're Friends of the Earth internationally is their name, and we have, people like Amnesty and stuff, which are these larger NGOs. But the largest climate organisation in Maastricht is us, because we have the student population, and we're the ones who are able to organise these big marches.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's really sort of a pivotal shift that now the youth, because it's our futures that are being threatened, are the ones who are having a voice.
Yes.
And I think what also is amazing is that like our community is mostly like university students, and that's really surprising because like university students have a lot on their shoulders. Like we're all here studying our ass off and stuff, but they still decide to give a lot of time to the climate and to their fight, to this fight against climate change, and for to fight the climate crisis. And that's amazing because like people take it for granted, but taking time off during your studies, especially when you're studying university, is really like a big deal.
Yeah, I can understand.
Yeah. It's not that easy.
I'm not a student, so. But wait.
Well, but taking time,
Taking time.
your days of rest when you're working all days every week.
Oh, that's true. That's true. But wait, before you said you had a collaboration.
Yeah.
nationally with someone from Amsterdam.
Yeah.
Because I know in
The
Amsterdam.
Glasgow agreement, no?
Yeah, so it's quite confusing once you start getting into it, but we've got like a number of collaborations going on. But that's sort of really the important thing, because the idea is people coming together
Yeah.
and fighting on all levels that we can. So we have our collaboration locally with the Maastricht Climate Coalition. And so we've got a load of different organisations in there, and that's what I was mentioning with Emily
Yeah.
Defensi.
And we like meet with like old people of Maastricht that are also fighting against climate change.
Amazing.
You know, and that's amazing. Like you know, this like having students, young people,
And
old
all,
generation
yeah.
gathering together to make Maastricht more sustainable, to fight
Yes.
this
Yeah.
crisis.
In the march was Saturday, right?
Yeah.
In Saturday, I met an old woman. We have the interview. We will share it in later. Oh my God, she was like thinking and caring so much. I told her like, you are already over the 60s, and you like she cares more than a 20 years old.
Yeah.
And we don't really give that much.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
it's really amazing, and
It's
it's
crazy.
such a nice way, because I come here, I'm studying like a bachelor's degree, and I stay for 4 years. So it's very difficult, I think, to get connected with the city and like get connected with the locals.
Yeah.
But I really feel like getting involved with the climate movement and being with the climate coalition
Yeah.
is such a good way to do that. Because as you
Yeah.
said, I know
It's crazy.
75-year-old people, and there's 2 lovely 80-year-old women who would
Yes.
come flyering with us every Friday on the street, handing out flyers, and they were so enthusiastic, and they were so happy to see the youth and like international people, and it's such a nice way to actually get involved with Maastricht locally and in a political level.
And for example, like there is this old man that is part of Media Defense, the organization that she was mentioning before. And when I joined Maastricht for Climate, he did not speak any word in English. He was only like Dutch, this Dutch nationalist, man that only knows Dutch.
Jesus.
And now he learned English for us, and now
Probably for you.
For me. Now there is a good connection between me and this old man.
It's nothing to do about the
Bianca.
climate.
Yeah, I don't know. Let's not say it here, but it is to do with the climate.
No, but I mean,
So,
it's because you've been involved in the climate movement for 4 years, as you say, and I
Yeah.
think it's nice because we're inspired by these old people. You're talking about
Yeah.
this
Yeah,
over
yeah.
60-year-old person, but equally those people are inspired by us.
Yeah.
And I think like it's really nice just to have that sort of two-way connection. Like Kirsten, you know her as well. She's another.
Extinction Rebellion.
Extinction Rebellion, but she's an older woman, older than me.
Yeah.
If you're listening, not an old woman. But she actually messaged after the protest, and she said that she'd been feeling really down with all of the events and everything that had been happening recently. But going to the march and seeing so many enthused people and so many active young people fighting and shouting and really taking power into their own hands inspired her. And I thought that was really beautiful.
Yeah. And that's just what we do locally, so.
Exactly. Let us tell us what did you do locally, like a little bit more, on the concrete side. Like you did march,
Yeah.
but how did you know?
Yeah, we also we are famous for doing marches, of course, but we also have pushed for famous, I guess.
It's true. It's the only protest, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe, I think so.
But
Definitely the biggest.
but
I mean, there was another protest on Sunday as well.
yeah, it's actually
The day after.
the other protest also is interesting because
But
we
they
are
don't
also
make a march. Sorry, they don't
No,
make a
no,
march.
they were just protesting.
Yeah.
But the other protest is from this platform that we are also part of, that is the anti-racist and anti-fascist platform. So like we are like a bit everywhere,
Heavy.
Because there is a lot of
Wow.
intersectionality when it comes to climate change and fights against racism and minorities. But going back to your question, locally, we together with these different organization, with the coalition, with these old people, young people, we created 8 demands that are our proposition to the municipality to make Maastricht more sustainable. And we have worked like on webinar series, climate conferences, marches. Like we're trying to push our demands to show what we want and what we will stand for, and of
How
course
to achieve it.
And
how to achieve it.
And how to achieve it,
Yeah.
yes, because
Amazing.
That was another really nice thing that we worked on just before the march. It was like a week before or something.
no,
2
weeks, 3
Two-
weeks,
no, it was like 2 weeks. It was
Okay.
pretty close to the march as well. We organised this climate conference, So it's like in the sustainability building, which we have and we have available for events. And then we put on this event that lasted like the whole day from 12 to like 5 or something. And it had all these different speeches from all the different facets of the climate movement. And it was just really nice again because we had so many people showing up to that. And it was such a mixture of students and locals and old people and young people. And all of them kind of gathered together. And this was more like to be able to discuss within themselves and have a deeper discussion about what we actually believe in and why we're fighting. And I think that's something that we'd also like to do more of. You know, we have these panel discussions and just really bringing together students and locals and working on ways that we can fight for the climate together is really nice.
I think overall what we really try to do is like raise awareness around Maastricht, you know, like we try our best to raise awareness. Also within the university, we try to work a lot.
And you are doing a great job, can I say it?
Thank you.
What is your ideas to try to get better, to make change? Like for, I don't know, big multinationals and all, like, I don't know, plastic. This is plastic, but I'm using it from 2 weeks. So
Yeah, me too. I'm taking this home with me.
everything. This is like hours.
I always walk
So
with this.
tell me,
I was born with it.
but because it's actually a really serious serious situation, because I heard there was like there is a island of plastic big as France.
Oh yeah.
Like in the ocean.
Big as Australia.
Oh, no, wait.
It's-
There
But
was
the sad thing is, it's
There's
just one.
just one. There's
There is
like
ma-
6 or
yeah,
7.
many more.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yes.
called Plastic Bergs or something.
Yeah, Plastic Island in Italian Ireland.
Yeah,
there
yeah,
was like
yeah,
this.
yeah.
And there was a kid of 12 years old. He was studying, I don't know, engineering, and he found a way to. He invented like the idea of a machine. I don't really remember the details, so I don't know if you heard it. That he could take the plastic and recycle it. And this guy was 12. I was like, with this long hair, hello. I was like, what the abuso?
Yeah.
The
And I
guy
was
now
shocked.
is 24 and
Yeah.
he's creating this boat with these 2 long arms. They're 60 meters each,
Yeah.
but the version 2 is gonna be 120 meters. And I think they're planning with, I think 1,000 of these to reclaim the
Yeah.
area in, I
10
think
years.
5 years,
Yeah.
5 years, 10 years.
Yeah.
But the problem is that the microplastics.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The-
But
That's
I mean,
really
there's
bad.
so many initiatives going on for that as well. There was somebody who was nominated for the Nobel Prize.
Yes,
and they invented something like it was some kind of microbe, I think, which you could put in the water and it would actually like be able to digest
Clean, yeah.
microplastics.
Yes.
I during the last project period, it's like some research thing that happens in Maastricht University. There was a group of people in Maastricht working on those microbes and working on getting them to eat plastic and like turn it into breakdownable biological matter.
But in general, like I think there is so many cool initiatives that people are doing, and that we have to incentivize people to keep doing that. Because, to be honest, I think the climate crisis cannot be solved just by like science itself, but also people need to do something for
But
sure.
the action.
Like
Don't bring this to the ocean. It's already.
Do you think
Yeah.
there is a turning point?
I think we have to to fix this problem we have to like collaborate and work in many different levels. You know, governments should start putting like more regulations.
Yeah.
I think people should start making different
Yes.
choices on
Yeah,
their life.
yeah,
Of
yeah.
course, we have to like listen to science, incentivize science, making like new projects, because we also need all of that. And then by all of us working together, maybe hopefully we'll change things. But I think also another big problem is the way we consume. That's also quite fucked, you know, because even if you have like very sustainable things, but then you consume them and you overuse them, then they don't become as sustainable as you think they might be.
I don't fully agree with you.
Yeah, no,
because
that's okay.
because I don't think the blame is necessary to put on the people.
No,
because
no, no. Yeah,
let me explain you why.
yeah.
Because I worked in a logistic company, and in one day you make more you create more waste of plastic as a person, you know, packing boxes than you would ever make in 10 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, this is the constant dilemma. Like the reason why we said at the start of the podcast that this climate fight has been going on since before 2005, you know, with Al Gore and stuff, since the 1990s, really.
Yeah, but
And the reason, even before that,
yeah, even
honestly,
like
there is
decades and decades.
Yeah.
But the reason, like one of the reasons at least, why it hasn't progressed that far is because companies that have so much money, like Exxon and Shell, they invented this idea of individual choice. The word carbon footprint, I think, was actually, and you'll have to check this because I don't have any
We
notes.
put it down
was-
here. So if you fuck it up, it's on you.
I can have Shell coming after me,
Yeah.
put the blame on the
Absolutely.
people. And then even now, I feel like with companies feeling more and more threatened by the climate movement that is happening and the whole system change, not climate change. You can see if you just go out to, like, the next day that you go out walking or something, have a look at the, you know, any of the billboards and the advertisements, and I bet that within the space of one day you'll probably see at least one greenwashing campaign, which will be, you know, saying something about how Starbucks has changed their straws or something, or how it's about, you know, bring your own bags to the
greenwashing
super.
to the people. I know.
What does it mean, greenwashing? Wash green?
Wash.
Color?
I can
It's
explain
like-
it if you want, but explain.
I mean,
it,
I
please,
can try.
Please.
It's like companies that they are pretending to be green, or like they promote green agenda because it's actually like it's good for business, you know, like because we are creating, like we are all becoming more aware about the climate crisis, so they are using it as a business strategy to, you know, and they claim to be so green, but then like what it's hiding behind is that they're actually not as green as we think they are, and they're actually like the cause of the problem. And what I said earlier, like I don't think it, like I actually think like individual a very tiny part on, like a very tiny part to blame on this crisis, and like the biggest part is to blame on like multinational.
But the
I think on
infuriating
a
thing
government
is-
level, I
Yeah,
think
governmental-
there is
for
a need
sure.
to change, and I think that as you are doing, bringing awareness to people that are gonna take decision, as you say, on the base of this is green, this is not green. I'm gonna vote, for example, this part if it's green, if it's not green. That's gonna make an impact rather than, as you said before.
Yeah, but as you say, like we've just had like a little bit of a discussion here. You know, it was 5 minutes or something, but there's so many different opinions to be had on this. Because at the same time, we've also been political campaigning for years, and what has happened? They keep on making empty promises. So, but that's what I think is good about like Maastricht for Climate, or honestly, like the climate movement in Maastricht in general, because whatever way you think is best to fight the climate. You decide that for yourself, and then you can choose how you want to tackle it, whether you think it's like smaller, more local action, whether you think it's like more civil disobedient action, then you can join groups like XR, which exist, or whether you think, for example, like we talked a lot about plastics. Maastricht for Climate doesn't focus that much on plastics, but we have our lovely friends, Precious Plastics, in the Sustainability Hub. So whatever issue you're interested in and however you think it can be tackled, I think there's a real platform and empowerment for you to be able to do that in Maastricht.
I also want to share my opinion because, as you said, like big companies blaming the people, they are smart because if the change, we can make a change. Like if I throw this one in now in the sea or whatever, I can see it after 20 years, 10 years, you know. But the company can make the change in one, as he said, in 1 hour, in 1 day.
Yeah.
So look, they are smart because we also can make the change. But some human, unfortunately, we are human, and it's like we are egoistic in everything we do. You think only about yourself. You don't really care. So unfortunately, you do. Yeah, you know, I have smoked a cigarette. Even the cigarette, you know how much are really. I saw a program in Italy, and the cigarettes are the first thing. Like billions cigarettes goes. Yeah, there's the small one. Yeah, of course. I mean, if I say you don't understand.
No, because otherwise it.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Yeah.
No, but the butts of cigarettes.
The small one, the butts.
They cost like 15% of the taxes for recycling things. In Italy.
It's crazy.
Just
like
to
if you
get
smoke,
the butts from the floor, huh?
Yeah.
Not.
If you smoke, there is like trash can, the new one, you know, where there is put your finished cigarette here, and if you smoke, enjoy, but don't. Even one can make
respect
a change. But of
the
course,
environment.
I think one thing that is the real big problem is what you said, like that we don't see how it affects.
No,
I think
no.
that's the biggest thing,
Yeah.
you know, like also politicians, like right now, nobody really cares. And that's what really made me mad this year, like seeing what the municipality has done. Or like over the years, we've seen like, you know, we were saying like, oh, stop business as usual. And people and the government was like, no, we cannot stop business as usual. But you saw that like in a time of crisis, like the corona crisis, they stopped the business
Yeah,
as
of
usual.
course.
It was
Yeah.
possible. Or for example, we asked the municipality, you have to help us create awareness. And they're like, no, we can't. But then the other day, they had a panel discussion about Ukraine crisis, which is like in front of us and we can see it. But then
Politics,
about the
huh?
climate crisis, they don't see it and they don't act upon it, you know? And that's like
Which
all the
problem?
yeah, they don't see
Yeah,
it.
it's
And all
just
the
politics
politicians are
because
like
they
in,
come out from all Ukraine just because.
yeah,
they have
and
to
also
show
like
up.
now there is like the
The
elections soon,
elections.
like it looks